These are hydrometers, and today I'm going to show you how to use them. So, what is a hydrometer and why do we use it in brewing? Well, a hydrometer is an instrument for measuring the density of a liquid, and sugar in solution, which is our wort, has a higher density than water, and alcohol, which has a lower density than water. Well, the first reading we take is just before we add the yeast, and our wort should be around 18 to 22 degrees, though it may vary depending on the yeast that you'll be using. The instrument is calibrated to 20 degrees C, but the variation in reading at the homebrew level will not be a problem, so just use it between 18 and 20, whatever you're going to be pitching at. There are tables you can look at to get the variation and add that to your final calculation, but it'd be very minimal in a couple of degrees change that you'll have in a normal brew. So before you pitch the yeast, take a sample or use the hydrometer in the fermenter, and you take the first initial reading. That is your original gravity, and that will give you the potential alcohol that you will have in your brew based on how much sugar will be eaten by the yeast. And the second reading you take after the fermentation has stopped, and you'll know this because you'll take a reading over a couple of days and it won't have changed. Don't rely on bubbling, because that just tells you how much your fermenter is bubbling. Use the hydrometer. Now, the reading of the first reading and the second reading you can put into a formula that will give you your final, known as the ABV, alcohol by volume, obviously. Right, I will now put up the calculators to do so. I mean, you can do it by hand, and I will put in below the actual formula that you need. Now, there are many ABV calculators. Beersmith has one, Brewfather has one, the Grainfather app has one, or even the Grainfather website has one. And I'll put a link to, and there's probably a few more free ones online. The Grainfather one is free. I'm not sure about the Brewfather or the Beersmith anymore. And it asks you to put in your original gravity, which you do was your first reading, and you put that in. And then your second reading was your final gravity, which is the last reading you took after your fermentation is finished. And press calculate, and that will give you your ABV. So you put it in to the wort and it shows this mark. Now that is considered 1.050. It's 1.0 is always put before these numbers. So at 70 it would also be 1.070. Hence, for higher gravity base you can have 1.100, and you will then see 1.110 is the next gradation, and that will be your initial gravity, or OG, original gravity. You would then wait until you feel the yeast has finished fermenting, and you will place this either into the fermenter, or you take a sample and put it into your sample jar and test again with a hydrometer, and the number should be further down somewhere. Depending on the beer type, it could be as high as here or as low as here. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.